Now, before I get on with Angela Rayner, can anyone please tell me in the comments why the Saudi national anthem was played before the Daniel Dubois and Anthony Joshua fight the other day? I mean, both fighters represent Britain. It was held in Wembley, a British venue, so why the hell was another country's national anthem being played? I'm keen to know the answer for that one. Anyway, Angela Rayner, the Deputy Leader or Deputy Prime Minister of Great Britain, second only to two-tier Keir or free gear Keir, whatever you want to call him. The guy has so many nicknames now. But regardless, they're all corrupt. They are all on the take. The Deputy Leader, Angela Rayner, Keir Starmer, even the Chancellor of the Exchequer. And these are just the ones we know. And there's more to come. I reckon there's worse to come because this information hasn't been coming to us willingly. It's had to have been investigated and exposed. It started off with Keir Starmer, and slowly his subordinates are all being exposed as well for being as corrupt as him, taking money from this donor. I mean, it's not a donation, it's a bribe. This guy, this Lord Ali, he paid for all this. It's a lot of money to give someone for nothing, isn't it? I mean, he wanted access to Downing Street. What else did the guy want? What else did they give him? I reckon our security services really need to look into this guy, look into this and see what the hell's going on. You do not pay thousands, hundreds of thousands of pounds to someone for nothing to make them look good, do you, eh? This guy wanted something more important, and I think we need to know what that was. Now, Angela Rayner is a massive hypocrite. She's a known hypocrite. I think Labour's slogan should be, do as we say, not as we do, because they're doing a lot of that, aren't they? They are typical leftists. It's okay when they do it. I mean, when they were in opposition, they called out Tory sleaze, literally every day. But it turns out they're just as bad. If not, I reckon they're worse. Now, with Angela Rayner's hypocrisy, you can see here with these tweets I'm about to show you, this woman is no champion of the working class. She really isn't. She may have come from us, but she doesn't represent us. This woman is in Parliament purely for self-interest, as are many of MPs. She is there to line her own pockets and get as much out of the public trough as she can. And when she was in opposition, she had quite a few pops at Boris Johnson. Now look at this tweet. She wrote, "Who do you think you are, Boris Johnson, telling working class people to rely on their own efforts when you go round with begging bowl to Tory donors to pay for your own posh new wallpaper and moan that you can't live on your 150 grand salary? Disgusting. Tory scum." And then there's this one. "The public have right to know who paid for this luxury holiday, how much you paid for it, and what you might expect in return for generosity. Tory scum." Now, apologies for that, but I couldn't help myself. So here she is calling for Boris Johnson and the Tories to show transparency. And yet it's turned out that Angela Rayner refuses to give full details of the bribes given to her from Lord Wahid Ali. I mean, it sounds weird saying that, doesn't it? Lord Wahid Ali. So yeah, calling for transparency, not being very transparent herself. Typical socialism, ladies and gentlemen. They are allowing thousands, tens of thousands of pensioners to potentially freeze to death this winter by taking away their winter fuel allowance, giving it to Zelensky, housing asylum seekers, etc. Of course, Keir Starmer, like he said, couldn't go without seeing his beloved Arsenal. And yet they're all on the take, taking these bribes. I mean, somebody said the other day, one of Angela Rayner's pair of trousers cost like 125 quid more than the average winter fuel allowance meant to be dished out this winter. So these people's arrogance and stupidity, they walk hand in hand with their socialism. They really do. But to top it off, and get this, right, Angela Rayner hired a £68,000 a year vanity photographer to try and make her look good after all this sleaze came out. I mean, talk about being out of touch, ladies and gentlemen. Talk about rubbing it in. Rubbing the faces of the poor, whom they are meant to champion, by living like kings and queens. Now, Angela Rayner liked to use the term Tory scum, didn't she? Well, the only scum here is Angela Rayner and her socialist cohorts. And they really are unpopular. So unpopular, in fact, that the public have already started to punish Labour. And this is a sign of things to come, because they've just lost 3 council seats in Worthing, Gelding and Westminster. It's the beginning of the end, like I said in a previous video. It's coming. The people don't like this shit. The people have had enough of this nonsense. They've had enough of sleaze, the same two parties over and over again in a vicious circle, taking the public, their voters, for granted and milking them for everything they have. That's what's happening here. How dare they? How dare these people do this? And the people sticking up for them, how could you? All you're doing is oiling the machine to make sure that it works and continues. Labour and Tories, they're the machine, and their supporters, you're the oil. And you should be bloody ashamed of yourselves. You really should. Anyway, I'm Paz49. Thanks for watching. And until the next time, Roger Trout.